The colony ship New Horizon drifted through the empty space between stars, its hull scarred from decades of travel. Inside, 15,000 humans slept in cryopods, dreaming of the new world waiting for them. Captain Sarah Chun sat in the command chair, watching the stars slide past on the view screen. They had been traveling for 42 years, and finally, they were close. "Captain, we're picking up something strange," her navigator said. "There are structures ahead. Big ones." Sarah leaned forward. They weren't supposed to find anything out here. The probes had shown empty space, no signs of intelligent life. But on the screen, massive stations hung in the darkness like metal cities. Lights blinked across their surfaces. Ships moved between them, sleek and fast. "We're not alone," Sarah whispered. A message came through, but it wasn't in any human language. The computer struggled to translate, spitting out broken words and fragments. Sarah tried to respond, to explain they were peaceful explorers looking for a new home. She waited for an answer. The answer came in fire. Energy beams cut through the black, slamming into the New Horizon's shields. Alarms screamed through the ship. Sarah grabbed her console as the vessel shook. "Evasive maneuvers. Get us out of here." But human ships were slow, built for long journeys, not combat. The alien vessels moved like predators, circling and striking. Their weapons tore through the New Horizon's defenses in seconds. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut as sections of the ship vented into space. "We're taking damage on all decks," someone shouted. "Shields are failing." Sarah opened a channel to the other two colony ships nearby. "This is Chun. We're under attack. Unknown hostiles. Break formation and scatter." The new Meridian tried to run. It made it less than a kilometer before alien weapons punched through its engines. The ship broke apart, scattering debris and frozen bodies into the void. The Promise attempted to fight back with its mining lasers, tools meant to cut asteroids, not warships. The aliens destroyed it in under a minute. Sarah watched her people die. 15,000 souls on her ship, 20,000 more on the others. All of them helpless against an enemy they never saw coming. "Captain, we need to abandon ship," her first officer yelled. "No," Sarah said, her voice cold. "Open all channels. Record everything." "What?" "These bastards are killing us, but they're going to teach us something." Sarah's fingers flew across her console. Every weapon they fire, every move they make, every frequency they use. Record it all. Every sensor, every camera. I want data on their ships, their tactics, their technology. Another impact rocked the bridge. Sparks rained from overhead panels. The lights flickered and died, replaced by emergency reds. "Send the data back to Earth," Sarah commanded. "Tight beam transmission. Everything we've learned. Make sure it gets home." "Captain, that will take power from life support. Do it," Sarah snapped. "Our lives don't matter if humanity doesn't learn from this." "Send it all." The transmission launched, a concentrated burst of information racing toward Earth at the speed of light. It would take years to arrive, but it would arrive. Every moment of their death, every detail of their killers, compressed into pure data. The alien commander watched the human ships die with satisfaction. General Thregzel of the Rex Dominion had destroyed countless primitive species. These humans were no different. Their ships were slow and weak. Their weapons were pathetic. They died easily, as all inferior beings should. "Scan for survivors," Thregzel ordered. "If any pods were launched, destroy them." His crew obeyed. A few escape pods drifted away from the wreckage, carrying handfuls of humans. Energy beams vaporized them one by one. Thregzel believed in being thorough. Survivors could warn others. Better to eliminate them all. "Sir, we detected a transmission from one of the vessels before it was destroyed. an officer reported. It was directed back toward their origin point. What kind of transmission? Unknown. High compression. Likely a distress call. Threxil dismissed it with a wave. It doesn't matter. By the time anyone receives it, we'll have eliminated their entire species. Prepare the fleet to move on their home system. The Concordat will be pleased to add another territory to our holdings. The wrecked ships departed, leaving behind only wreckage and silence. They had won easily, as they always did. The humans were just another footnote in galactic history, another species too weak to survive first contact. But Threxil had made a mistake. He had given the humans something precious: information. He had shown them his weapons, his tactics, his ships. He had demonstrated exactly how the Vrex fought and exactly how humans had failed. Back on Earth, years later, the transmission arrived. Military analysts and scientists gathered in underground bunkers, watching the footage of their people being slaughtered. They watched it again and again. They froze frames, analyzed energy signatures, calculated weapon yields and shield frequencies. They didn't mourn. Not yet. First, they learned. Admiral James Rodriguez stood before the assembled officers, his face grim. 3 colony ships, 45,000 civilians, all dead in under an hour. He paused, letting the weight of those words sink in. We've been alone in the universe for so long that we forgot the universe might not be friendly. What do we do, sir? A young officer asked. Rodriguez looked at the frozen image on the screen, a Vrex warship in mid-attack. We do what humans have always done. We learn from our mistakes. We adapt. And we make damn sure the next time we meet these aliens, the outcome is different. Around the room, heads nodded. Humanity had lost its first battle. But the war had only just begun, and humans had been learning from defeat since they climbed down from the trees. The Vrex had won. But they had also taught humanity exactly how they fought. And that, though they didn't know it yet, was their fatal error. 2 years after first contact, the war was over. Not with a final battle or a dramatic surrender, but with a simple communication from the Concordat Council. We accept humanity's terms. Hostilities will cease immediately. Ambassador Chun stood in the council chamber, the same woman who had captained the New Horizon and survived its destruction. The Concordat had specifically requested her presence, though she didn't know why. Around the circular room, representatives from 7 species watched her with expressions that ranged from respect to fear. Ambassador Chun, Speaker Varth began, its energy form pulsing with what might have been nervousness. We invited you here to formally apologize for the unprovoked attack on your colony ships. The Vrex Dominion acted without council authorization. General Threxil has been removed from command and faces trial for his actions. Chun nodded but said nothing. She knew political theater when she saw it. Threxil wasn't being punished for attacking humans. He was being punished for losing. We wish to offer humanity a seat on the Concordat Council, Varth continued. Full membership, equal voting rights, access to all shared technologies and territories. Why? Chun asked simply. The question seemed to confuse the council. The Kelthus ambassador's crystalline structure chimed uncertainly. Why? You've proven yourselves worthy. You defeated our grand fleet. You've earned... No, Chun interrupted. I'm asking why you really want us to join. What are you afraid of? Silence fell over the chamber. Finally, a small amphibious creature from the Drellic species spoke up. We're afraid of what you'll become if we keep fighting you. Chun appreciated the honesty. Go on. We've studied your history, the Drellic continued. You've survived 6 mass extinction events on your world. Your species nearly died out completely at least twice. Plagues killed half your population. Ice ages buried your continents. Supervolcanoes blocked out your sun. And every single time, the survivors came back stronger, adapted better. You've been practicing evolutionary warfare for millions of years before you even had technology. We fought you 3 times, another representative added. Each time you improved exponentially. Our analysts ran projections. If we fought a 4th engagement, you would win decisively. If we fought a 5th, you would destroy us completely. Not because you're stronger, but because you learn faster than we can adapt our tactics. Chun looked around the room, seeing the truth in their eyes. They weren't offering membership out of respect. They were offering it out of survival instinct. Better to have humans as allies than enemies. There's something else, Vorath said quietly. Something we discovered in our analysis of the battles. Your ships sacrificed themselves to gather data, yes. But we found something in your transmissions. Messages to the dying crews. Do you know what your Admiral Rodriguez said to a destroyer captain before his suicide run? Chun shook her head. He said, "Your death will teach us something. And what we learn from you will save thousands more. Your people don't just accept death. You weaponize it. You turn every loss into a lesson, every defeat into data. It's the most terrifying military doctrine we've ever encountered. Because you can't win against it," Chun said softly. "Killing us just makes the survivors smarter. Defeating us in battle just teaches us how to beat you next time. The only way to truly defeat humans is to kill every single one of us before we learn anything. And we're very good at making sure at least some of us survive." The council members shifted uncomfortably. Chum pressed her advantage. "You've built your civilizations on strength. You conquered the weak, absorbed the primitive, destroyed those who threatened you. You've spent millions of years being the strongest species in any conflict. But humans didn't become dominant on Earth by being the strongest. We became dominant by refusing to stay dead." She walked to the center of the chamber, her footsteps echoing in the vast space. There were other human species once. Neanderthals, Denisovans, Homo erectus. They were stronger than us, better adapted to their environments. But when the ice came, when the food ran out, when the world changed, they died, and we survived. Do you know why? No one answered. Because we adapted faster. We learned quicker. We shared knowledge more efficiently. The strongest human species went extinct. The smartest ones survived. And that taught us something fundamental. Being the strongest doesn't matter if you can't adapt when conditions change. "So you're saying we should be afraid of you," the Kelthis ambassador said. "No," Chun replied. "I'm saying you should be smart about us. Fight us, and we'll learn to beat you eventually. It might take 1 battle or 100, but we will figure you out. Or work with us, trade with us, share knowledge with us, and we'll have no reason to treat you as an enemy to be solved." "And if we refuse both options?" Vorath asked. Chun smiled coldly. "Then you'd better hope you can kill every last human in your first strike. Because if even 1 ship escapes, if even 1 colony survives, we'll study what you did. We'll learn from it. And we'll come back stronger. That's not a threat, Speaker. It's just what humans do." The council debated for hours, but the outcome was inevitable. Humanity was offered full membership in the Concordat, with all the rights and protections that entailed. In exchange, humans agreed to share their adaptive methodologies, their data analysis techniques, their rapid learning protocols. What the Concordat didn't realize was that by integrating humanity, they had guaranteed their own transformation. Human engineers would study their technology and improve it. Human tacticians would analyze their defenses and find weaknesses. Human scientists would examine their biology and discover vulnerabilities. Not out of malice, but because that's what humans did. They studied everything, questioned everything, learned from everything. Within a generation, human innovations were spreading through Concordat space. Within 2 generations, The children of Concordat species were being taught in schools with human, educational methods that emphasize learning from mistakes. Within 3 generations, the Concordat military had adopted human doctrine. Every engagement studied, every loss analyzed, every defeat turned into a lesson. The galaxy didn't realize it was being conquered, not by weapons or ships, but by an idea. The idea that failure wasn't the end, it was data. That defeat wasn't shameful, it was educational. That the strongest survivor wasn't the one who never fell down, but the one who learned something every time they did. Ambassador Chun retired after 10 years of service. On her last day, a young Kelthus officer approached her. "Ambassador, I've studied your species' history. I have a question." "Go ahead." "Your species almost died out several times. You survived plagues, ice ages, supervolcanoes, near-extinction events. Why? What made you refuse to give up?" Chum thought about her crew on the New Horizon, broadcasting data even as they died. She thought about the destroyer captains who sacrificed themselves to gather intelligence. She thought about every human who had ever faced impossible odds and decided to try anyway. "Because we're too stubborn to know when we're beaten," she said with a smile, "and too smart to make the same mistake twice." Years later, historians would debate when humanity truly became the dominant force in the galaxy. Some said it was the defeat of the Grand Fleet. Others argued it was the Concordat membership. But a few understood the truth. Humanity had won the moment General Threxal decided to attack their colony ships. Because he hadn't just killed 45,000 humans that day. He had taught humanity exactly what they needed to learn to survive in a hostile galaxy. He had shown them the weapons, the tactics, the weaknesses of their enemies. He had given them their first lesson. And humans were very, very good at learning from their losses. The galaxy would never be the same. Not because humanity had conquered it with force, but because they had infected it with an idea more powerful than any weapon. That every defeat was just a lesson waiting to be learned. And every loss made you smarter. In the end, that was humanity's true superpower. Not their technology, not their tactics, not even their stubbornness. It was their absolute refusal to let any experience, no matter how painful, be wasted. Every loss meant something. Every death taught something. Every defeat prepared them for victory. And in a universe where most species avoided failure, humanity had spent millions of years mastering it.